S-time addicted mom have ONS with random guys at the bar as soon as she leaves the house. Just found out recently that my wife of 14 years cheated on me with multiple men. I had credible suspicion that she is having an affair, but after I confronted her, I found out that it was much more than I thought. Mine was bad, really bad. This is what I know now because it is currently unraveling as I write this. Wife spent 2 years having an emotional affair. Ashley Madison, hotel hookups, stranger sexting, sending nude photos, dinner dates, etc. A full range of cheating. Some signs of earlier past misbehavior, but nothing that could ever be proved, and not something I want to explore. She would only admit to things I already know, or when she is caught in a lie, she trickle truths and become defensive. The more I find out, the more I have come to the realization that my entire marriage was a sham. We have been married for 14 years, been together for 17 years. She is 51 and I am 53 years old. We both have children from previous marriage and have a daughter together. She had 2 children from previous marriage, and I have 1, and we raised our children in a combined household. I love her children like they are mine. 17 years ago, we met each other from an introduction from a mutual friend, who was also a business partner. I run a small business and she works as a caregiver and sometimes has to travel for work. At the time I just broke up with my ex-wife, and we both happened to be single, so I decided to invite her for a drink one day, and she accepted. We hit it off. After that we started talking on the phone, and that was how it started. Then gradually, we became intimate. First we started meeting up at hotels because we didn't think it was the right time to introduce ourselves to our children. Then a few months later we introduced each other to our kids. Fast forward years into the marriage, everything was going great. I would like to tell you that we had our ups and downs throughout our marriage, but I would be lying because now that I am looking back, I can see signs that our relationship was a little toxic. There was physical abuse involved on her part, but I ignored it when it first started, because I thought it was nothing. I thought because she was little compared to me, and her hitting me only hurts her wrist, that it didn't matter. I thought that she was a little spicy and we would have great make-up sex after our fights. Despite that, I still considered her the best person I know, because she had good sides to her too, but I am now seeing how that may have caused her to walk all over me, failure to set boundaries when it first started, and accepting myself in the position have escalated to her having an affair. While I am not sure if that was the real reason why she had an affair, or me just over-analyzing things, furthermore the details of her affairs are still unraveling. Up until now, I thought I had a great marriage. We connected on different levels, so I was really happy in our marriage. I keep questioning myself why I wasn't good enough for her. I still look good for my age, still have a full head of hair, still in shape, I continue to go to the gym, I am not overweight like a lot of betrayed husband I read about on this site. So, I have already been a confident, disciplined man, until recently, when I found out about her affair. Looking back, I don't know how I got it so wrong. I prioritized our marriage over my business and anything else. I supported her both emotionally and financially even though she does okay for herself, and we tried to maintain a strong relationship even though her job requires her to travel a lot. I supported her emotionally and I was by her side back in 2018 when she was under enormous stress from being a primary caregiver to a difficult and aging dad. Her siblings were fine letting her fall apart under the stress. So, she devised this plan to take a gig that took her out of town, to force her siblings to contribute. They did, it worked. I was pleased to make this sacrifice, though alone during those times she was going on this gig, and missing her. Little did I know she immediately upon leaving town got a burner phone, joined Ashley Madison, started an emotional affair, and engaged in a double life. She took advantage of a real-world crises and my generosity to betray me. That hurts my soul like 1,000 devils torturing me without relief. To be clear, she carried more than her weight with the caregiving, and I understand caregivers are highly susceptible to affairs. Not that every stressed caregiver goes full tilt on a quest to screw every man in a state. Someone asked me and the response is what made my radar go up. Initially, nothing, just an intuition. If it was something, I still can't put my finger on it. My radar was up for weeks. Then we were getting ready for a trip out of town, and she had a scheduled trip for the weekend just prior that she insisted she wanted to be alone. That wasn't terrible, I've wanted alone time. But there was a stink on it, and little actions. She did all the preparations a woman does when she's going to get laid. She tried to do so covertly but wasn't successful. And then I thought perhaps it was a one-night stand, really bad, and I had prepared myself as best I could for that admission, but her reaction after I insisted, I knew, just gave her away. If it makes any sense, the severity of her cover-up revealed that there was a much more involved affair. There were so many lies in such a short period of time. It was a storm of lies. But it was only a feeling I had about her responses that kept me going and had me devise my partially successful ultimatum. I consider it a mistake now. In being told by her now that I know everything, and my feelings are lying to me. She keeps telling me she's sorry she broke me in response to me asking her questions. It's like she's taking responsibility on the surface, but actually she's telling me I'm crazy. My feelings and my own logic is all I have right now. I have not been tested for STD. No condom was involved in either of the disclosed incidents. So that is forced onto my to-do list. I believed we could triumph over anything the world could throw at us, and there was no reason for an affair. My view on affairs was that it was possible for anyone to have one, so I wouldn't allow myself to get into bad situations, and that the cost of an affair was too great. I didn't feel like a saint, it was just rational and right. I had opportunities, but why risk a great marriage or hurting someone you love with lies? I've read many forums, but this has been far more devastating than I ever imagined. I haven't eaten for 3 days, I fast occasionally, but am not fasting. Everything just looks like turd, and have slept just a few hours each night. My suspicions were far less than the truth. The admissions included a one-night stand, as well as a 2-year text affair that culminated in another one-night sex meet-up with a former co-worker she knew for over a decade. There have been several days of the typical lies, half-truths, obfuscations, and gaslighting. I knew a few facts, but when I disclosed a fact, her limited admission would match the fact, but never one bit more. Anyone relate? It's infuriating. It read about a confrontation approach to make telling lies worse than telling the truth. I had a few facts at my command. I knew one weekend that Shed certainly slept with the affair partner, though I thought this was a one-night stand and was blindsided by the admission of a prolonged affair, and I knew of a long-ago flirtation that ended with him in her hotel room, and then I had a few maybe items that had circumstantial evidence of other possible old fling sexting. These were mostly from texts I'd seen that were later deleted. Not enough to prove an affair, but proof of deleting inappropriate texts. Other odds and ends. I was truthful in letting her know that I had a few facts of her infidelity. She said she wanted to save the marriage. So, I told her that I'd make every attempt to save the marriage, but that I expected her to tell me everything. Everything from our entire marriage, and most especially every detail about the affair partner. I told her that if something didn't match what I knew, then it was divorce. She ended up detailing a 2-year run-up of sexting and flirtations, admitting that she initiated advancing the friendship into an affair, initiated the sexting, shared nude photos, planned a night, and followed through. She opened up her phone records for me, although I could see the date time of texts and calls. Online T-Mobile does not keep content, but I read you could do a restore that would restore all deleted texts. Obviously, she'd been deleting incriminating texts from her phone. I've not asked to do this yet, but there are moments I want to see the deleted texts. The records show all manner of disrespect. Me trying to call, but her not taking the calls as she's involved in the sexting. Her waking up and texting him when I'm in the other room. Long text exchanges when I've gone to do something, like taking my dad to a doctor's appointment, and she engaged in several hours of texting. She texted him as much as she texted me. I suppose it's all routine betrayal, but it was intimate and premeditated. In the beginning she refused to call it an affair. I told her fine, I'd do everything she did except not sleep with the person, and she can put whatever name on it she pleased. We agreed to the word affair. Where I am now is I have what appears to be a thorough admission of the 2-year affair. The new disclosure of the man she picked up in a hotel bar for a one-night stand. I did not get any admission on old suspicions and partial facts I had. Where there is smoke, There is fire, and I refuse to be gullible. Update, she has given up the affair partner, sending a text and blocking. She says she wants to save our marriage. She says he does not matter. She is not in love with him, she was thrill-seeking. She is now answering questions with some ease, and it feels genuine. The problem, of course, is that I've learned a terrible truth: her lying face looks exactly like her truthful face. Regardless, the facts and timeline match what I feel to be true. I made a promise to commit to working on our marriage, but am not sure she has satisfied my suspicions, and am having a difficult time reconciling that she never admitted to what I know to be inappropriate behaviors early in our marriage. How important is resolving older suspicions? I just don't know. I'm going hour by hour right now. My state of mind is that I look around at the life we built and am not sure that it's meant the same to her as me. I don't know what is true or false about the past. It's like the entire earth shifted beneath my feet and there is nothing but smoking rubble around me. She wants to talk about the future and am looking around and trying to figure out what survived the blast. I'm exhausted, and I don't want to make decisions. I feel like a ghost. Nobody knows in my life, I haven't told any friends, and am invisible. That makes finding this place all the more meaningful. Anyway, I'm reading the responses over and over 3 times already. I'm taking some of the advice and considering the rest. I have pulled back my promise to work on it. It was too soon. My place now is no decision. Just take an hour at a time. God bless you all, really and truly. Reader comment, I am a technology professional with over 20 years of experience. I have some bad news. If your wife has an iPhone, deleted text and other content are no longer recoverable as of iOS 13, maybe 12, unless there has been some kind of advances in the past few months that I am not aware of. Dr. Phone is currently the best choice, though Phone Lab was the best for many years. If your wife is on an Android, Dr. Phone or Phone Lab has options for you, though I have not tested them. Important, you can still possibly recover information. If she backs up her phone to her computer or has iCloud or similar cloud storage backups, you may find everything. People who are not tech savvy leave lots of trails. Dr. Phone and Phone Lab can extract information from both sources. Also, important, if you want to know more, get a VAR S and a GPS. VAR, voice activated recorder. Here is the VAR I recommend, Sony ICD PX470. It costs $50.99 on Amazon right now and delivers in 1 day. Lots of people say to use black tape to cover lights on it, and to cut a stereo headphone jack off a pair of headphones and stick it in to suppress beeps, etc. I disagree. Just read the manual for 15 minutes and you can disable lights and beep easily. Also, get a 32GB card to expand your recording capacity to weeks on end. I recommend the SanDisk 32GB Ultra Micro SD HC-UHSI memory card with adapter, 98MB S, C10, U1, Full HD, A1, Micro SD card. Square 032GGN6 $8.49 on Amazon, arrives tomorrow. Original poster, things have gotten far worse. It's shocking to me how correct so many of the responses have been. We were not at the bottom of my wayward wife's deceit, we weren't even at the starting line. First, thanks for the response on the iPhone. She has an Android, and I haven't decided whether or not I want the old texts. How much pain do I want for the possibility of getting new information? When do I know enough? Phone records may be moot. I've just been made aware of the use of burner phones. Yes, she had a burner phone. As to my wife's first marriage, she just admitted she cheated in that relationship, but he never caught her, and it was not the reason for divorce. This I know from him. So we're on day 5 from the first legit disclosure. I get pretty confused about my suspicions, her disclosures, for lies, more disclosures, red herrings, gaslighting, on, and effing on. Each day had new disclosures, such as finding out she stayed at hotels with hotel bars so that she could find possible sex partners. Check in, go to the bar, shaved, waxed and ready. It hurts. I also discovered a previously unknown email. The look on her face was complete terror when I presented it and told her the recovery email was one I had access. She disclosed that she had joined Ashley Madison and Adult Friend Finder. That shed made half a dozen meetings, having sex with one of the men twice. So, the count right now is 3 men, one of which is a former boss and decades-long friend, one from Ashley Madison 2 meetings, and one from a hotel bar pickup. Someone says it was premeditated. Yep. Ashley Madison, burner phone, email addresses, choice of hotels, absolutely proves premeditation. I love her in these hurts. An entire life, family, children, funerals, weddings, home, friends, and so many beautiful days with her. My image of her as the best person I know is very hard to reconcile with what she's done. I want my marriage, but am also devastated. I have seen a counselor and had a first session. It was nice to talk to a person. I'm talking to my wife every day and remaining calm, but the trickle of disclosures is like a slow acid drip. I feel as if I'm being tortured. One of the very difficult parts is each day she begins with this idea that I'm out of my mind for wanting to know more when everything has been disclosed. When I point out that just the day prior new things were disclosed and Shed used that line on that day, she says that I just won't try and trust her. I'm not trying. I'm failing. I'm looking at the past and why does it matter? I'm acting crazy. I've discovered 2 other possible emails and 1 other possible phone number, but real unsure about the latter. I haven't brought up either. I'm combing through whatever I can, but I don't enjoy it and I really just want to stop. But each time I find something, and it leads to a new disclosure, it reinforces the idea that I need to keep looking. As if the 1.5-year affair isn't enough, I'm real worried there are other friendships that constitute an affair. I'm still taking it hour by hour, not really knowing what the past was, knowing who my wife is, and I certainly don't know the future. I've been up since 1:30 a.m. and still with little sleep since D-Day. I did some forensics on phone records and emerged with new questions, likely some new infidelity and the revelation she sent nudes to at least the main affair partner. I've been reading the forums and the responses. I understand advice to just call it, given the depth and breadth of her infidelity and her inability to make full disclosure so far. I've decided, or rather, am attempting to make disclosure a process and have no more this is all of it conversations. I love my wife, I value the life we built, and I've not let go of it. We have a child together, and her children are my children now, and I have loving and close relationships at Luz. Something struck me in one of the comments. Is she my wife or a fantasy of the wife I had? I'd have to say that my wife died the day I found out about the AP. In trying to figure out who this woman is right now, I look at her and see the woman I invested my entire being, perhaps too much of myself. But at the same time, I see a new woman and I don't know what to make of this woman that would hurt me over and over. There have been apologies from her. There have been disclosures that I might never have discovered. There has been promises about behavior and self-examination, therapy to get to the bottom of her own failures. Couples therapy. New phone with complete access and open devices. I don't know what to think of it all right now. I'm staying, trying to remain calm, and participating in reconciliation. Is it too early to accept reconciliation? Yes. I want the process of disclosure to play out and am giving that some time. I have not gone the route of polygraph. I have asked for a detailed timeline. I have not restored her phone, just online forensics. I have not yet gotten access but will to one known email. I will fine-tooth comb her phone today, even though she had a burner phone. Indications are she was careless, so I'm going to see what there is to see. I know this all sounds garbled. But I'm a garbled person now. I'd like to apologize for each of you that gave advice that I did not accept and was not ready to accept. I did not respect the process. I did not respect your advice. I'm sorry. I was trying to do too much. I was trying to understand what she did, why she did it, and when she did it. I was trying to understand and emphasize with her plight, the guilt, the shame, the difficulty remembering. I was trying to plan for reconciliation. I was looking at myself, how gullible I was, how much I trusted, how I ignored signs, how I didn't address little issues and inconsistencies. I've been questioning my own manhood, my own self-work, and the manner in which I've operated in life. I reached a place yesterday where I knew I was trying to do too much and was getting ahead of myself. Trying to fix her, me, and our marriage, too much and way too fast. Also, asking her to help fix me is like asking an active arsonist to help put out the fires, as they are starting fires. This revelation has given me some peace. I have put my chest out, my head up, and am working on work, working on eating, working on finding a state of mind to sleep. I have put on her the burden of disclosure, but she is not a safe place to go ask questions, so I'm not going to the arsonist to ask questions about her fire starting right now. She is free to write up her story and come to me, but am not acting pathetic and going to her. I'm not being overly prideful. I realize I love my wife. I want our marriage. I have loved many parts of the life we built. But first and foremost is me. I now commit to eating, sleeping, and learning how to heal me. Sounds like ludicrously small goals, but they are my goals and I already feel better. I have a therapist and am going to take advantage of that. One step at a time. And am sincerely sorry again for not listening when so many of you cared enough and spent the time to reach out to me. I did not respect your time or effort. Selfishly, if I had really listened, I could have saved myself a few brutal days. Yes, I've done an STD test. The call is supposed to come into me today, tomorrow. No obvious signs. Yes, I do realize the image of my wife and the real wife I'm talking to now are not the same. Just as the image of my life is not consistent with what it was or what it may be going forward. I'm in uncertain and uncharted waters. Yes, I do realize reconciliation with a serial cheater is hellish. I'm taking it one day at a time. No, none of my less than perfect thoughts or actions led me to keeping any legit secrets from my wife or family. Secret thoughts, but no secret deeds. But I have been dwelling on my self-esteem, my self-image, what I've done and not done. I'm dwelling a lot my own gullibility. Yes, I realize my wife has been a serial cheater and she has been willing to harm me even further with acid drip disclosures. No, I'm not having her do a polygraph. It's reasonable, but not in my disclosure information gather goals. She wants us to reconcile, but I told her that she is still holding back on things. She's working on a written full disclosure timeline. I'm working on my business and myself. Reaching out to a friend for help. Back to helping my elderly parents with their needs. I went AWOL on them and feeling guilty. Thanks for staying till the end of this video. Please support my channel by subscribing, liking and leaving a comment. That would help with YouTube algorithm. Have a nice day.